everyone. Welcome to the bonus chapter Q&A with John Mars. We are just waiting for John to join us. So in the meantime, if you would like to pop some questions into the Discord, any questions that you have for John, then please do pop them into the Discord chat. And then I will make sure that I ask him as many as possible. Hello, John.
Can you hear me now?
There we go. I can hear you now. I can see you. We're all good.
Sorry about that. We were having a few difficulties with the with trying to log on. It was just logging me on as a spectator, but we've sorted it out anyway. John, can you close that door?
Yeah, sorry.
Thank you.
Amazing. Thank you so much for joining us, and
My
apologies
pleasure.
about the technical difficulties.
That's all right. We got there in the end.
We did indeed. I'm not the best with technology myself. I'm literally so rubbish. I think a lot of the members will back me up on that. I'm just not the best, but you know, we get around it, don't we?
I think everybody needs another John who can just kind of sneak in, do what's needed to be done, and sneak off again.
Amazing. Everybody needs a John.
Yes, everyone needs a John.
I'm just admiring all the books in your bookshelf as well. You've got such an amazing bookshelf. I love it.
Oh, I love these bookshelves. So when we moved into the house, I'm going to give you a little guided tour. This is the first thing that we had done. We had these installed and built, should I say. And then this is John calls it my me corner, because over here, that's all the different translated books that I've had. So the British ones, all the foreign ones and stuff like that, and different various editions. You get some in paperback, some in limited edition, and yeah, it's all quite. I enjoy them.
That's amazing. And you must think, when you look in that corner as well, what an achievement to have all of that.
You know what I did once upon a time, but now it's what is it called? There's a syndrome it's called, and I've decided that I've got it, and it's like some kind of thing where basically you get so much positive stuff coming at you that it just all blurs into one, and you should feel like really grateful, and you know you are, but if you can't quite explain it properly. It's like if you've got so much good stuff, you can't process it bit by bit, and sometimes I feel like I have that, and it sounds really ungrateful, and I don't mean to be. I know how lucky I am. But yeah, so when I look at those, I think, yeah, it's great, but don't dwell on it. Move on to the next thing.
Yeah. Are you on about imposter syndrome, maybe?
No, I still get a bit of imposter syndrome when it comes to the whole book side of things. It's slowly going, but like if I go to, I don't really do any book events. I don't really do any panels, but then sometimes I'll go to one just in the audience, and it'll be quite cool. And like there's one recently with Sarah Pinborough, who I really love as a writer. I just kind of sat in the audience, and she knows me, and she started talking to me in there, and I'm like, I'm really embarrassed because you're amazing, and I'm just like me.
Well, I've got a bit of that now. I can't lie. I'm like, oh my goodness, I'm actually talking to John Mars, and a lot of the members who know me know how much I love your work. So I really appreciate you coming on and speaking to us today. It's a real.
Thanks for having me.
Amazing. So just to kind of introduce the event, and for those joining us as well who are watching, my name is Charlotte. So in case you don't know me, I am a host of some different book clubs in Chapter 25, but one of the ones that I think is quite prevalent to today is I do the crime and thriller bonus chapter, because I am a big thriller fan. So yeah, that is me. And of course, today we've got the lovely John Mars with us, and thank you so much for coming. So John, you worked as a journalist, and then you self-published your first book in 2014, which is just such an incredible achievement. And then you've got quite a few books out now as well. So that's brilliant.
I genuinely can't keep count, because when you're writing books, you've always got, so at the moment, for example, so I'm publicizing 3 books that came out a while back, which have got these bonus chapters. I'm also written something else for something next year that I'm not allowed to talk about. And then there's another thing that I'm not allowed to talk about either that I've done that involves bonus chapters in something else. I've got a book coming out in January that's still going through the edits. I'm about 70,000 words through the book for 2027. and now I've got to start kind of thinking my way through the book for 2028. So you've always got all these different balls you're juggling, all these different universes of characters that you've created. And so when people say, oh, how many books have you written now? I genuinely can't remember. I have to sit there trying to work it out, how many counted on my fingers.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, that is crazy, isn't it? How you've got a couple of years in advance that you're kind of thinking about all the
Yeah.
time. Does that ever get stressful or overwhelming, or does it kind of feel
Only
manageable?
occasionally, because I do like a little bit of promo stuff online on various Facebook groups and things like that, and that is quite time consuming. And then Instagram, and then we have to shoot these little videos for Instagram and for TikTok and for Facebook, and sometimes it's just a little bit like, yeah, a little bit too much. But then I've got to remember, I'm in an immensely privileged position. I think the average author, I can't remember how many. The average author earns something like between about £9,000 and £12,000 a year, and I have to think, well, you're bloody lucky that you can afford to do this as a career full time. So stop your moaning, get back on Facebook, and get chatting to people.
Amazing. To be fair, I do follow you on like Facebook and all your other social media as well, and I've got to say that you're very down to earth, and you've made me laugh in so many of your videos.
That's
Do you
good.
find that people are quite shocked when they kind of get to know you, because you write these really dark books, but then when you're, on your social media, you come across as like a really like kind of light, bubbly person.
I think I get rid of all the miserable stuff in my books, and so that all that's left is a happy me, really. Yeah, I think people expect me to expect me, maybe if they haven't followed me on social media and they've just read my books, they'll probably think I'm quite serious and a little bit dark and take myself quite seriously, but I really don't. I think there's an old joke about if you take yourself too seriously, you might be kind of missing the biggest joke there is. So I try not to.
Yeah, amazing. So quite a few of our book clubs have read your book, The Family Experiment. So I kind of wanted to ask a few questions on that book.
I will try and remember it. I've got to think it came out, a couple of years ago in hardback. So then I would have finished it about 18 months before that. So I'm going to try and remember it, but forgive me if I get the characters' names wrong.
No, don't worry at all. You've got that many books. It must be quite hard to maybe like pinpoint certain books, especially with your ones that are kind of set in the same world. Do you kind of get them mixed up on
sometimes? Yeah. I mean, when the one came onto Netflix, so bearing in mind the book had been out about 3 or 4 years since then, a bit before then, and I've not read it. The last thing I ever have to do with any of my books is when I listen to the audio version of it, because I'm always kind of curious as to how it sounds. And that's always like a period of just like where you just sit and say, oh, I phrased that badly, oh, I wish I hadn't written that, oh, I've used that same word twice in 2 consecutive sentences. So it's kind of a bit bittersweet. But I was doing promotion for it for the Netflix series, and for the life of me, most of the time I could not remember who the characters were. So I had my computer had them all on post-it notes around the screen. So and so and so and so met so and so, and just like these little brief notes about them, because I genuinely can't remember.
That's amazing. What a different feat.
I think if you keep them in your mind the whole time, you'll just never have room for anything else.
Yeah, of course. And I guess when you've got ideas for other books coming through as well, you kind of want to focus on, what is that new book going to become? What are these new characters that I'm creating going to be?
The book that comes out next year, I actually thought about the idea about 3 or 4 years ago and put it in the notes section on my phone and then forgot about it. And so I'd written this for my editor. I always come up with like about a 2,000 word synopsis about what the book's about, who the characters are. And the one that I was working on at the time just couldn't get it right. I'd written about 2/3 of it and I couldn't get an ending. I was just flicking through my phone and found this and like, oh, okay, I forgot all about that. Put a few, not even 500 words together, and it's like, yep, write it. But it's funny how things can come about.
Yeah, definitely. So in terms of The Family Experiment then, and please don't worry if you don't remember, but do you kind of remember what your inspiration was behind it?
Yeah, there was a piece that I read in a newspaper from I think she's like a futurologist. She kind of predicts what's going to happen in technology in the future, and her prediction was that eventually a lot of people around the world are not going to be able to afford to have families because it's too expensive to raise them. and the metaverse is going to become more and more popular. So what they're going to do is they're going to have like a Netflix subscription style affair to create and raise your own family, and you can have them. You can have them the same age. You can have them whatever sexual gender you want them to be, however many you want them to be. You can dip in and out of their worlds. You know, you can do anything with them whatsoever within reason. And I thought, okay, this should be quite interesting if we turned it into like a reality show competition. And then you had to think about, well, actually, are people going to be sitting down and watching TV in however many years from now? They're really not. They're going to be on their tablets and their phones and wherever. But you're trying to turn it into something that would be kind of, reality shows. I don't watch as many reality shows as I used to, but I kind of am a bit of a sucker for a bit of reality crap.
Sometimes it's nice to just kind of switch off, isn't it?
Oh God, yeah.
Just watch some rubbish.
Just sit me in front of a season of Selling Sunset on Netflix and just leave me be, and I'm happy as Larry.
Amazing. So, how did you kind of decide on the format of a TV show? Did you explore other formats, or were you always kind of set on, I want this to be about a TV show?
Yeah, I was always going to be a TV show, because people have been predicting the demise of reality TV for years now, ever since Big Brother began. And that was, 25 years ago last week, and it's still going strong. You've still got your Love Islands and The Only Way is Essex, and a lot of them are scripted reality, but they are still a lot of reality TV shows. And I think people are always going to be interested in people. I mean, look at the rise of TikTok, and most of that is just people watching people. So I think it's always going to be something that interests us.
Yeah, definitely. It's a really interesting concept, isn't it? It's kind of like how YouTube has become such a big thing, just people filming themselves and putting it out there. Like anybody can do it, and they've got, millions of subscribers because people just want to see what other people's lives are like, and we're just quite nosy as humans, really, aren't we? We want to know what's going on.
My publicist put me through. We didn't used to do much stuff on TikTok, and then they sent me to a TikTok house in London, whereby I met up with some experts on the world of TikToking, and some influencers as well. And they wanted to say, yeah, it's interesting to know about your books and your ideas and how you come up with them and stuff like that, but we want to know about you as well. And it's like trying to keep that middle ground between not giving too much away and keeping yourself to yourself, and having a private life, and kind of selling yourself a little bit as yourself as a product and as a brand, and you kind of have to separate the two. Because when I first started writing books, and then my first 3 were self-published, and they were and I had to do all the promotional stuff myself, and I learned pretty quickly no one else is going to do it for you. I'm going to have to do it myself, which is why I did a lot of stuff on social media, and a lot kind of wooing a lot of bloggers as well, and blog tours. But nobody things have changed quite a lot, and most of it is about doing it yourself now and not relying on blog tours and trying to get audiences. And that's just in a few short years. In 10 years, God knows what it's going to be like in 10 years from now.
Yeah, definitely. And kind of talking about like the impact of like social media and everything. As I've said, I've kind of I follow your Instagram, and I saw a particular video that interested me of you and your husband talking about your books, and you said that The Family Experiment was your least favorite like book cover.
Yes.
And I just wanted to know why. I wanted to know more about that, because I think it's quite an interesting book cover.
Oh, you know what? It's really, really hard, the world of book covers, to get something right. And that was a book, we couldn't think of a title for it for ages. And so that was hard. And then coming up with the cover, I guess, I kind of went with it. I didn't really push back much on it because I had no better solutions. I think the white hardback cover, I don't know if I've got any lurking around in here for anybody who hasn't seen it. No. I've got to, here we go. So you got the white cover for the hardback, which I quite liked. It's all right. But then I think when the purple, kind of purpley reddy one came out for the paperback, it just, if I saw it on a shelf, I'm not sure whether I'd pick it up or not, if I'm honest.
Really? Oh, gosh, I quite prefer the darker one, actually.
I really like the book. I'm just not keen on the covers. And the cover can really make or break something. Like there was so Thomas and Mercer, there are 2 different publishers, and Thomas and Mercer, who do the psychological thrillers. They they recovered 3 of my books recently for the bonus chapters that I did, and I always hated the original cover with a passion. And I'm so glad they redid that, because they turned it into something I'm like much more. But I never pushed back on it, and I really should have. It's my own stupid fault.
Is there a reason why you didn't push back, or did
I think
you
because it was
feel like
only
you
my
couldn't?
it's my third book for them, and I didn't really feel like I was in a position to. I thought, okay, you know best. And it turned out that at the time it was like my lowest selling book. So I have a gut instinct of what's going to work and what's not.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it's good that you've managed to get them kind of redone, that republished then, isn't it?
Yeah, I really like them now.
Yeah, good. I think it's a kind of important to, advocate for your work, isn't it? And just
Yeah,
really take pride in what you've got, which is, yeah,
yeah.
really good that you're able to get them republished.
But I think that kind of
Amazing.
when you're new to publishing, it's a bit, you don't want to come across as pushy, you don't want to come across as awkward. You want people to like you. And then you get to a point where you've been doing it a few years and you're like, actually, you know what? I do know what I'm talking about now a little bit more than I did a few years ago.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. So with the family experiment, is there anything in particular that you hoped that readers take away from that book?
But a lot of people ask me that, and they ask about deeper meanings in books and stuff like that, and what am I really trying to say in what I'm writing? And the answer is, I'm not bright enough. I'm not bright enough to think that far ahead. All I want to do is kind of write a story with twists and turns that's going to entertain people and that's going to take them away from their life. Because books is all about escapism, isn't it? I'm reading one at the moment, so I just want to escape for an hour or so each night and see what, and just read it. And I think that's what I try and do with mine. I don't try and do too many hidden meanings. I'm not really trying to say anything about society. I'm kind of just trying to create a book that it's got twists and turns, and it'll entertain you for like 9-10 hours of your time, or however long it takes you to read.
Well, that definitely worked, I can tell you
Oh,
that.
thank you. Very kind.
And what is the book that you're reading at the minute? Just out of
It's
interest.
called The Ice Angels by Caroline Mitchell. So she was on the same label as me. She writes detective thrillers. She was on the same label as me. She's moved recently to Penguin, and her book's out next year. I'm really liking it so far. It's really good.
Amazing. Just actually add it to TBR.
The TBR list never ends, does it?
No, it doesn't. It really doesn't.
I've got so many books on the shelf like over here that I've not even touched yet, and that is then my rainy day books. And I'm like, okay, when I've got a few hours, I will read it. But then if you're not writing, you're publicizing, or you're spending time with your family, or you're doing stuff. It's time just disappears. Same for everybody.
Yeah, it really does. There's not enough time to read all the books in the world. I mean, my bookshelves are ridiculous and overflowing. So I need to get some bookshelves like yours that are just bigger.
Do you do audiobooks?
You know what? I've spoken to quite a few members about this. I don't tend to listen to audiobooks, but I feel like I'm going to have to get myself a subscription, because I feel like I can, like, it's good to kind of do, like, when you're pottering around the house doing chores, or on a journey. I feel like that's maybe something I should try a bit more. I did read that you quite like audiobooks, don't you?
Love them, yeah. So I have there's the advanced reader copies that I read because I kind of have to. There's the books on my shelf that I buy and I think I will read that one day. And then the audiobooks are the ones I really want to listen to right now. So I do love audiobooks, and like you say, it is if you're just even it takes about 15 minutes to drive to my son's school, so that's like about 15 minutes gone of the book that you listen to at about maybe something like times 1.5 the speed or something. And or if you're pottering around in the garden, or even just like wandering around Tesco's, I do loads of audiobooks. Just about to start the new Taylor Jenkins Reid book. She's my like palate cleanser. She's looking at the style and an author that I shouldn't really like for the genre that I write, but there's something about her work I really enjoy.
I've heard so many good things about the new Taylor Jenkins Reid book.
Okay.
I know that there's quite a few people in our book club that really love it. Just maybe prepare some tissues.
Okay.
I've not read it myself yet, but I've had amazing things.
Okay.
Yeah, she's definitely a very good author. So do you mainly read thrillers yourself then? Because obviously you write thrillers. Is that mainly the kind of genre that you read as well, or do you branch out to other genres?
I'll read pretty much anything. I really that kind of interests me. I love John Boyne, the Irish writer. I'm looking on my shelf here because I can never remember the name of anything. There's a few crime thrillers I love. I'm a big fan of Cara Hunter. I love everything that she's done. Just looking what's on here. Lisa Jewell. So yeah, I guess that's psych thriller. She's great. There's a book I love called Trust by Hernan Diaz, which is kind of a book set during the Depression in America, about the stock exchange, which again is like nothing that I write, so completely out of my comfort zone, but I just really enjoyed it. So I don't know, I'm one of those people who really judges a book by the cover, and if I walk into Waterstones or something and see a cover that really appeals to me, then okay, I'll read the back of it and then I'll end up buying it.
I'm exactly the same. I'm absolutely the same. But then I'll pick a book by its cover, read it, love it, and then I have to get every book by that author. That's just how I work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, I like that.
I know what I like, and then I have to just get everything.
Yeah, I get a bit obsessive sometimes.
Yeah. Glad to hear that it's not just me.
Not just you.
Amazing. So another one of your books that I kind of wanted to talk to you about was Keep It in the Family.
Yeah.
And that's because this is a book that we like at chapter 25, we did it as one of our crime and thriller bonus chapters. So and I remember hosting this event and just being so excited to hear about everyone's views on this book, because it absolutely blew my mind. So I know it said in your acknowledgements that the idea kind of sparked from a dream. Do you mind just kind of explaining a bit more about that?
Yeah, it was literally had a dream one evening about going up into an attic and finding 6 suitcases, and inside these 6 suitcases are the mummified remains of children, and outside there were little packaged clothing in like some shrink wrap boxes, shrink wrap things. There was a new house, and there was like some warning written in the skirting boards. And as soon as I woke up, I thought, okay, this could be the basis of something. So I dictated it really quietly into the notes section of my phone. I've done that a few times on things, and most of the time you wake up in the morning, you're like, oh my God, that's absolute bollocks. You think at the time this is amazing, but it really is no bad. But this I thought had legs. So, and then I kind of formulated a story around it. It's a weird book, that one, because it was dying on its arse for a while, sales wise. Initially did okay, and then for me, for some people, the sales would be amazing, but from what I've experienced in the past, they kind of plateaued, and I thought this book is just really not going to do anything from here on in. And then a few book clubs just discovered the word of chapter 39, which just had the F word in it, and that spread, and people wanted to know more about it, and it just blew up. It blew in the space of a month. It blew up. So that book, which had probably stalled at around the 50,000-60,000 sales mark, has now done well over 500,000. And that's just because of that one word. Chapter 39, fuck. Excuse my language.
It's brilliant. Oh, don't worry.
And
absolutely brilliant.
And I read sometimes that people, I'm really disappointed with it. Oh, it's really crass. Yes, it's supposed to be. I wrote it. It's my book. I could be crass if I want to. It amused me. And that's my main reason for writing. At the time, I'd never read a book with just one word in the chapter. And I thought that word just kind of sums everything up. But I never expected in a million years for it to take off like it did.
You know what? I saw chapter 39 in like just random posts, like on Instagram and things. And I was like, what book is this? And then I just happened to obviously pick up your book, and when I got to the chapter, I was like, oh my goodness, it's this book. I didn't even realize. And I just had to sit there and laugh for like a good 5 minutes, because it just really cracked me up. And I'll never forget when everybody read that chapter, they were like, oh, wait for chapter 39. And just building it up in the chat. It's such a funny way to express how a character is feeling, because even though it's just one simple word, you know exactly how Finn's feeling in that moment.
It conveys quite a bit. One word, yeah. There were some people who were like, well, it was a bit of an anticlimax. I'm sorry, but what are you expecting with a one-word chapter? You ain't going to get. If you want Shakespeare, read Shakespeare. If you want a sweary bloke from Northamptonshire, I'm your man.
It was just great. I feel like it really kind of defined his character at that point. It was
Yeah,
just,
good old Finn. It's a lovely lad.
Good old Finn. I've even seen I don't know if you've seen this, like different merch things where there's like a mug where it just says like chapter 29 and it's just like it's chapter 29, 39.
Yeah,
and I just thought it was amazing.
But we did this as a bit of fun. So we did this mug, keep it in the family, chapter 39, and well, I haven't signed it because it's my own, so I don't need to sign it for myself. And we did 25 of them, and that was it. And we put it on my Facebook page, and we were only ever going to do 25, and they sold out within about a minute and a half.
I'm not surprised. I didn't even realise they were from you. Now I'm gutted.
but then lots of other people have done merchandise since. So they've done bookmarks. I used to do bookmarks and pens, but then we kind of reached a point where, yeah, I'm going to stop doing that now. But yeah, people have got T-shirts. Some weirdly in America, some people like painting house bricks with book covers. And so I've had a couple of those with the front. I've had tattoos of chapter 39. Keep it in the family parties where there's just lots of suitcases and like kind of slightly battered looking dolls in them. The response has been, oh yeah, there was chapter 39, someone dressed up as just a giant page for Halloween. It's just kind of taken on this life of its own, and people message me first and say to me about, is it okay if I do this bit of merchandise, or is it all copyrighted? I'm like, you know what, I've made a decent amount of money from this book, and I'm very, very lucky, and it's the readers who put me where I am. So knock yourself out, you do what you want. And there's loads of things on Etsy of people selling it, and I don't make anything from it. I don't care. If it's going to make someone a few quid or a few bucks, go for it.
That is amazing. I just think like for a one-word chapter to make that much of an impact, and then benefit your sales and everything as well. But it's, as you said, not always about that. Just the fact that these readers are getting a laugh out of it. Amazing.
And if they can make some money out of it, then good on them. These are trying times for a lot of people. So if you can make a few quid out of the F word, then go for it.
Yeah, amazing. So another question I have with this book is the family dynamics are like a really key part of the book, I feel like. And I just wanted to know how you kind of approach writing different character relationships. Do you have a sort of process for that?
I tend to write, I never write consequential, no, what's the right word? Consecutive chapters. So I will write, if I have it all mapped out roughly what's going where, I'll do one character here, one character there, whatever mood I'm in that day. If I'm in a happy mood, I'll write a nice chapter. If I'm in a meh mood, I'll write something a bit nastier. And then I piece it all together at the end, and like do a lot of cut and pasting. And then that's kind of when I try and work out the relationships between characters and what needs to go where. I think a lot of people put more thought into the process of what I do than I do, if that makes any sense. Doesn't mean I don't think about it, obviously, but I just kind of almost go into autopilot and just get on with it because I know what I need to do to make a book that will hopefully entertain people. And so if I sat and thought about the process too much, I think it might end up being a little bit too much for my tiny little brain to handle.
I'd give yourself some credit. That's really interesting to just think like, oh, like I feel like I'm quite a mood reader. So like whenever I'm in a specific mood, like if I'm in a sad mood, I'll pick up a sad book, or like, if I'm feeling happy, I'll pick up something, a bit funny maybe. So that's interesting that, you kind of think on the day, right, how you're feeling, and then you write something relating to that. Is really interesting, and maybe something I should give a go.
the way you are with books, that's how I'm like with music as well. So if I'm feeling a little bit meh, I'll put something miserable on, listen to that all day. If I'm feeling like cheery, then I'll put something camp and enjoyable, and then just sing at the top of my voice.
Yeah, it's amazing how different like creative media can kind of just help with your emotions, but also just kind of let you get them out.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's really interesting. Yeah. So with Keep It in the Family, obviously it has an amazing plot twist, as many of your books do. And when it comes to kind of plot twists, do you kind of already have the idea for them? How far in advance do you kind of get the idea for a plot twist?
Some of them I know pretty much from the start, and other ones are last minute things and just seem to fit in well. So which plot twist are you talking about? Because there's I think there's one main one, and then there's a few other ones, but other people would say, oh, actually, no, that's not the main. I guess that I thought it was something else. Can you say which one?
Yeah, I was thinking mainly about Debbie, but also
Right,
I think
yeah.
what probably shocked me more than anything was Finn in the last chapter. That just
Well, I'll tell you two things about that. First of all, the Debbie one, what a bugger that was to do on audiobook, because it's so hard, because you can't use a male narrator, and you can only use a female narrator. Then if you use a female narrator, that kind of gives it away, doesn't it? So that was really hard. I didn't even think about that when I was writing the book. So I think it works pretty well in the book, but not necessarily the audio version of it. And Finn at the end, that was kind of a last minute thing. That was that was not something that I thought out. That was just going to be he's just playing the rest of it. He did kill that guy. He's his uncle. Well, not even his uncle, was it? Because it wasn't his flesh and blood, but the guy called himself his uncle, for taking or looking after the baby. And yeah, I just decided at the end, okay, maybe let's just have one last little dark twist. And some people liked it, and other people, fair enough, they didn't. They kind of they knew he was a bit of a bad guy, but they kind of thought maybe that wouldn't have happened. I'm like, yeah, okay, if that's not going to happen, then the rest of the book's not going to happen either. Come on, it's fiction. It's fun.
There you go. Yeah, fiction's meant to be fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I think one of my favorite things in books is like a really last minute or like epilogue twist. So I was eating that up.
Yeah.
Definitely one of my favorite devices.
I wrote a book called The Stranger in Her House. It came out a couple of years ago, and the favorite twist I've ever written is in that book, and it comes about the third of the way through.
My goodness, I've not read that one yet. I will have to really pick it up. If that's one of your favorite twists, there you go.
Email me your address and I'll send it to you.
My goodness, that's so kind of you.
Yeah,
Thank
email,
you.
I'll send it to you.
Thank you so much. Amazing. So I kind of wanted to talk to you a little bit about your writing process. I know we've kind of discussed that a little bit already. We've got quite a few members who are interested in writing, and we do a few events based on creative writing, because it's something I think many book lovers really want to kind of get into themselves. And I just kind of wondered, do you have a particular place that you prefer to write, or time in the day? What kind of works for you? Is it just anywhere or anytime?
Because I used to work in London, so it would take me an hour on the train to get down there, about an hour and 45 minutes from door to door. So I learnt to write books on trains, so I could get an hour done in the morning, hour in the evening. I was working for a couple of newspapers and magazines at the time. There was a lot of downtime during the day, so I could sometimes grab a sneaky couple of hours on my desk as well. And I think that kind of trained me for being able to write anywhere. And so as long as I've got a laptop and a pair of headphones with me so I can block out the world, that's absolutely fine. So sometimes now I'll write a few hours at home, probably start at about half eight-ish, write a few hours from home, go to the gym, have a fap around there. They've got a big restaurant area, have lunch while I'm writing. Maybe in the afternoon, I'll then go to Starbucks, which is near to my son's school. I'll get 45 minutes on the laptop done there. With a stuffing a muffin down my throat, then pick him up from school, and then that's my day over with. So I can write anywhere, and I think as long as it doesn't matter if you've got a laptop, if you haven't got a laptop, you've just got a notebook or even a phone, or you can only even grab 10 minutes a day. That is something. You're making a start. So I know not everybody has time. We've all got families, we've got careers, we've got lives. But I really do think if you've got a story that you really, really want to tell, there is a way. You can find that time. You can claw it back from somewhere. I really believe that, because I know it, because I've done it myself, and sometimes I still have to do it and try and claw at it.
Yeah, that is amazing. That is really, really amazing. So when it comes to kind of finding inspiration for books, then you've kind of said that sometimes you've had dreams about certain storylines. Do you kind of just get inspiration, or is there anything in particular that you do to help get inspired?
No, it just can come. If you try and force it, it's not going to work. I've tried that before, coming up with plots and forcing it. It doesn't work. For me, it's just reading a lot. Other people's books sometimes can give you inspiration. TV, meeting people like the Good Samaritan. The idea for that book came from a friend whose boyfriend used to work as for the Samaritans, an organisation, and he was telling me how hard it could be when you're listening to people who are ending their lives and there's nothing you can do about it. And I thought, yeah, okay, I could do a character based on that. And then in my own little twisted way, I decided, well, what happens if the character who is trying to help people is actually trying to help them end their lives? And that became the Good Samaritan. They can come from anything. It can come from real life. You just got to keep your eyes and ears open. And it just, yeah, I say I've had other books before where I've read other people's ideas, like what lies between us. You'd never know, but that was based on reading. Do you remember the book from about 5 or 6 years ago, Eleanor? I can never say it. Eleanor Oliphant.
Oh no,
that was a hugely popular book, probably about 5-6 years ago. And that was if you would read the two books together, you would not think they were at all related. But that inspired my book.
really
Yeah,
interesting.
so it's amazing. And yeah, and just real life experiences. Like The Vacation was based on when I went backpacking when I was 21 around America for a year, and then all these years later, there's a lot of little characters that I remember, and I thought I'm going to try and turn this into something. And it became a book. So get it from your own experiences and get it from other people's experiences.
Yeah, amazing. So my next question is kind of like, how long is a piece of string? But how long does it kind of take you to write a book? Does it depend on the book itself, or do you tend to kind of wrap it up in a similar sort of time frame for each book? How long does it kind of take you?
Each book at the moment takes roughly about 9 months, apart from the one that comes out next year, and that took a little bit longer, and it took about 12 drafts before I ended up sending it to my editor, because I just struggled to get it to work until the end. And even then, it had 3 more drafts before it's in the stage where it is now, where it's almost ready to go. So what was your question again? I just went off on a ramble, didn't I?
No, you pretty much answered it, to be fair. It's just how long it takes you to write a book. And yeah,
it varies. Like, for example, so that book that I was just saying it comes out next year took me quite a long time to write, but the one that's coming out in 2027, I'm flying through that one. I know these characters inside and out. I think that's maybe where I lacked for the book that's coming out next year. When I first started writing it, I didn't spend enough time thinking about who they were, so I've learned from that mistake. I know where they are now, but maybe not when I started.
do you kind of like get any pressure to release books like really often, or like just kind of when inspiration hits?
Yeah, I was doing it for. So I was writing for Penguin. So I'd write a speculative thriller for Penguin, and then a psychological thriller for my other publisher, Thomas & Mercer. I'd rotate them. It's one every 9 months. So literally, as soon as I'd finish one, I'd start the next week on the next one. And I didn't want to continue like that. So I'm not doing speculative thrillers at the moment. So I'm taking a break from that. I don't know how long for. Maybe I'll go back to them. If I have the right idea, maybe I won't. But I'm just concentrating on the psychological thrillers because I want to claw a bit of a life back. I want to enjoy my life. Our son is almost 6. I want to enjoy spending time with him, not being stuck in the office. As lovely as the bookshelves are, the bookshelves ain't going to love you back.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's really important as well, kind of getting that balance, because as amazing as writing a book is, you don't want to kind of lose a passion for it, do you?
No.
As much as it is work for you,
yeah.
You want to make sure that you're still enjoying it, because otherwise, what's the point?
Absolutely. Yeah, I don't want to feel like I'm on a production line, because if I feel it, you're going to feel it. I'm not going to be one of these authors who churns out a new book every 3 or 4 months. If it works for them, great. It doesn't work for me.
Yeah. So along the lines of your writing then, do you have like a book that was literally your easiest to write, and then a book that is really difficult? Are those the ones that you've kind of just mentioned, or are there any others that you find easy or difficult?
The easiest one I wrote, I think, was The One, because there was no pressure to do that. I was self-publishing it. I could do what I wanted to when I wanted to. I think I probably wrote that in about 6 or 7 months and then self-published it. And it's become my biggest seller around the world. It's like done over 1 million copies now. And that was just a book that really, didn't take half as long as the others. Hardest book was maybe the one that comes out next year, Dead in the Water, what we're calling it at the moment. The title might change. So that's probably the longest one.
Yeah. And how kind of was your journey through self-publishing? Was that a challenging journey? Did you find it quite nice? And how has it been moving from self-publishing to having a publisher?
So the first book, When You Disappeared, it was something called Something Else First. I wrote to about 80 different agents and publishers, and I've still got all the letters in my cupboards, and every one of them said no, not interested. Some of them didn't want to know anything about it, some wanted to read a few paragraphs, some didn't think it was commercial enough. And again, like one of my others, that's like sold over 500,000 now. But I thought, you know what, I'm going to self-publish it and see what happens. People seem to like it. Wrote another one, people like that. Wrote the one, people like that. Then in the same week, Penguin and Thomas and Mercer approached me about 2 separate books, asking if I'd want to publish them traditionally. And then a few days after that, someone got in touch from a production company about the one, asking if I'd be interested in trying to turn it into something, and trying to turn it into a TV show. And so I said yes to all of those. So how has my journey been? It was like a little bit disappointing at first, but without self-publishing, I wouldn't be where I am now. I wouldn't have the career I have now. Been really, really fortunate and very lucky in some ways to pull it off. I still don't have an agent.
Oh my goodness, really?
Yeah, don't have one. Yeah.
How do you find that kind of managing that?
Well, let me clarify. I've got a TV and film rights agent based over in LA, so they deal with that side of things. But for the books, I don't. We just, my husband has knowledge of law, so he deals with the contracts. We deal with our own negotiations. Yeah, I don't feel the need to have an agent at the moment. Might change in the future, but not at the moment. Yeah, I enjoyed self-publishing. You can do what you want when you want. You've got no pressure, but it is then all on your shoulders. You have got to do everything yourself. You've got to have a thick skin. You've got to be prepared for people to dislike your book. You've got to be prepared for people to love it and rave about it. You've got to have another one ready to go. There's a lot to do, and you've got to do it all on your own. But it can be worth it.
Yeah, it definitely was in your case.
Yeah, I mean, I'm under no illusions that, I think I'm an all right writer. I think I can get away with it. And I've just got a lot of very, very loyal readers who were willing to take a punt on me, and very lucky in kind of the right place at the right time. So it's not, I don't think, oh my God, this is amazing because I'm the most amazing writer in the world. I think it's just, I'm very, very, there's a combination of being very fortunate and having an idea of how to write a book.
Yeah, I think you need to give yourself a bit more credit.
It's that typical British thing, though, isn't it? You don't want to go, oh, look at me, I'm amazing.
Oh, love me. Oh, yeah, it's only my thing. Amazing. So, how you were a journalist before you published your book. How did that kind of shape your writing career? Did you enjoy being a journalist?
Yeah, it was good fun. I enjoyed it. It was all like towards the started off on local newspapers, then ended up gravitating to some of the tabloids and some magazines in London. And it was all celebrity stuff most of the time, on lifestyle features. So one day you could be interviewing someone, you could be interviewing like Angelina Jolie to promote a film, and then the next minute it could be someone from Made in Chelsea. It's like really kind of yin and yang stuff. And I enjoyed it. It got to a point where I kind of ceased to enjoy it, which is when I thought I'm going to go writing a book just to see whether I can do it. Didn't expect for a minute, not for a minute did I expect it to become a full-time career. It was good fun. I liked it. Unfortunately, the nature of journalism now, a lot of magazines, a lot of the newspapers I work for have closed down. Some of the stuff I did was absolutely random. I worked for Nuts magazine, the Lads mag, for a while, which was a mad experience. I remember the weirdest feature I ever had to write was about the 100 best boobs in Britain. And I had to write a different picture caption for each set of boobs. So
what do you write about that?
Oh, honestly, there is a way. Honestly, you can find a way if you really have to. Yeah.
Oh, that is interesting.
I've got it somewhere, but tucked away in the garage somewhere. If things ever go wrong for me in this career, I've got the boobs to fall back on.
That's like just a perfect quote from this Q&A. Got the boobs
great
to fall back on.
I'm going to fall back on my boobs.
There's another mug for you there if you ever want to go back into the merch. Oh, amazing. So obviously, like you've done really well with your books. How does it kind of feel when you walk past your books like in shops and things? Or I know you put on your Instagram and you found somebody reading your book in public. How
Yeah,
does that kind of feel?
that gave me a real buzz actually, because I've never seen it before. I get photographs sent to me almost every day from around the world. People are, oh, I saw someone reading your book here or reading your book there. It's like, oh, that's amazing, thank you. I've never seen it in the flesh. And I'm just sitting there working on the next book, and then I'm like, kind of, I've got a bit sore looking around. I'm like, you know, when you like do a double take of something, I'm like, that's my book cover. Should I say something to her? Should I not? And I just like, really sorry to bother you, but I just wondered what you thought about the book. And said, well, I've only just started. I've only like a few chapters through. It's quite twisty and turny, and I'm enjoying it. And she said, why, have you read it? And I said, well, kind of. And she said, you didn't write it, did you? I'm like, well, actually, yeah. And she looked at me and said, if you turn to the inside back cover and there's a photograph of me, she's like, oh my God, I'm reading the book. The author is sitting virtually next to me. And we had a chat for a while. She was absolutely lovely.
What would you have done if she went, oh yeah, it's actually really rubbish, I'm not
I
enjoying
would have just been like, lovely to meet you. Back on the keyboard, head down.
it? Just be gutting.
Yeah, just that. Yeah. But yeah, it was nice. I really enjoyed that. It was a nice little experience.
Yeah, amazing. It's good that she enjoyed it.
Yeah, thank God.
So, talking again about your online content, you've obviously made some with your husband John. Has he read all of your books?
Yeah, he's the first person who reads everything I write. So when I'm in a position where I'm reasonably happy with it, I'll throw it over to him, so it won't all be spell checked and everything like that. So he reads a really rough version of it. And then when we first got together, he would like, you know, say, give me a couple of comments about it. And then a couple of comments expanded to like 2 or 3 paragraphs of notes or something. 10 pages of notes is what I get now. 10 freaking
Wow.
pages. And he's like, he does not pull any punches. He's like, right, Lily, love her. He does not work. You're trying to throw the kitchen sink at that. You don't need to put a dragon in there. Just don't, you don't actually put any dragons in there. Just no, yes, no, no, no. And then I won't talk to him for about a day, and then I'll end up admitting that about 90% of the time he's right, unfortunately. Because he reads more than I do. He never used to read before we got together. Now he reads much more stuff than I do.
Oh, that's interesting. Has he ever thought about writing himself?
I've asked him if he ever fancies it, but no, he doesn't. But he helps me come up with the ideas, like the Marriage Act, which came out about 3 years ago now. It was based on an idea, based on a conversation that he and I had, and that he brought the conversation up, and he was like come up with a lot of the major plot points of that. And yeah, he's very good at coming up with ideas. If I'm struggling with something, like there's the book that I'm working on at the moment, I'm like, I just need this one little extra thing. He's like, well, how about they do that? I'm like, yeah, thank you very much. He's very good.
That's amazing. Just having somebody with you there that can just help spark the inspiration a little bit.
We all need a John. Oh, and he cooks as well. So you know, what more could I want? He's a keeper. He's a keeper with a cool name.
That's another mug for you there, where you'll need a John.
Yes. With boobs. I need a John with boobs. There we go. There's my pull quote.
There you go.
Okay.
Amazing. So another thing I wanted to ask is obviously like with kind of like the book community, when people read books and they often rate them on like different rating sites. Do you ever kind of read the ratings and reviews? How do you kind of feel about that?
Of course I do. Yeah, I'll, in the run up to a release, I will read the reviews on NetGalley, and then I'll have a look at the reviews on Goodreads. But Goodreads is not really a place for writers; it's a place for readers. So yeah, any ego that you might have is quickly slashed if you have a quick look on Goodreads. And then I think for the first 2 or 3 weeks, I'll have a look on Amazon to get an idea of the kind of average rating that people are giving it and what they think of it. And then I'll try and leave it alone. Sometimes a few months later, I'll go back and just make myself feel really crap by just looking at just the 1-star reviews. And but you know what, you've got to accept that people are going to love your books and then people are going to hate them, and if you can't accept that, then you shouldn't really be writing books. So I've got to take the good with the bad, and maybe being a journalist kind of helped me develop a bit of a thick skin for that, because I would imagine that with a lot of people who put their heart and soul into a book, and you've just got someone who gives it a 1 star, and just a 1 star, it just says this was crap, didn't like it. It can be pretty heartbreaking.
Yeah,
But I'm a
definitely.
bit
And I can imagine that, like, even if you've got like an overall rating that's really high, like 4 point something,
yeah,
and then you just see that one review that's like, oh, 1
yeah,
star, hated this. You're just going to focus on the negative, aren't you?
absolutely. Yeah, I still do now, which is why I try and keep away from it, because it doesn't really do you any good.
Yeah, yeah.
Now and again, I'll just like binge on some of the crap ones, and I'm like, and other John's like, why are you doing this? Because you can see that how impossible it is to please everybody. Like I remember reading a few successive reviews about one of the books, and the successive reviews were literally, this book is too long, this book ended abruptly, this book I didn't like the characters, this book I love the characters, I wish there was a sequel to it, I hope to God there's not a sequel to it. You can't please everybody, so you've just got to write the book for the people who you think will enjoy it, and don't try to turn the opinions around to those who don't.
No. There's definitely no pleasing everyone, is there?
No,
It's impossible. Absolutely impossible.
Absolutely not.
Yeah. Amazing. So I've got one final question before we move on to questions from the members, which is, I know you have already kind of described it a little bit, but I think just to kind of summarize it, what can we expect from you next?
So early next year, there are some bonus chapters in something else that I've written. And then there's a secret project I've been working. Oh yeah, before that, a book comes out. Forgot about that, in January, Dead in the Water. And then there's a secret project I've been working on for something that comes out next September time next year. And then another book the year after that. And then that's the last book in my current contract. So who knows? I might retire. Who knows? I might run out of ideas. I might not have enough dreams. Other John might just stick a pillow over my face in the night and snuff me out. Who knows?
John might write a book of his own.
Exactly. There's a story in that, isn't there?
Oh, there is.
Yeah. Writer is killed and his husband is, but nobody knows his husband has written the last few. Well, I've been deep faked a few times. Like these really weird deep fakes. They use old videos of me, and they've used AI to make the mouth move around and to use my voice but not my words. And then they target women saying, oh, I really feel like we have a connection here, or blah blah blah, and send me money. I'm like, please don't fall for this. Well, my favorite one is one of the deep fakes, and it's talking about how much I love my fans, but for whatever reason in the video I'm rolling my eyes and yawning, so it comes across as, yeah, I really love my fans. It's just the most pointless deep fake I've ever seen. But maybe I should send him out to promote stuff. We nicknamed him Deep Fake Johnny, DFJ. So maybe he can write a book for me.
Brilliant. Love it. There you go. There's your 2028 onwards.
Yeah, they're sorted.
Amazing. Right, so I'm going to get up the questions from our members because we have had several of them. Lots of really interesting questions. So we've got one from Sam who said, I'd love to know how on earth he comes up with such different storylines to the usual tropes. All I've read have really intrigued me.
Ooh, that's good. I think because I've read quite a few psychological thrillers, so there are tropes that I'm not going to write about. My pet peeve is twins in a book. I'm never going to write about a twin. Never going to happen. And I just try and come up with something original. It's really hard these days when there's so many books out there and so many books being self-published every day. It's really hard to keep thinking of some original stuff. So that's great that you don't think I'm delving too deeply into the world of tropes. I've yet to end a book where it was all a dream, but give me time.
I feel like because some of your inspirations come from dreams, that'd be quite apt.
Yes. Well, a lot of people when they were reading So You Killed Me First, that came out earlier on this year, thought that that it's told from 3 different perspectives, and there are certain other perspectives in there that appear, and people get confused. Well, who are they? And a few people think they're ghosts. And like, no, I don't do ghosts. There are a lot of authors out there who do ghosts better than I do, but they're not ghosts.
Yeah. Really interesting. Yeah, because I completely agree with Sam there. You don't really kind of go for typical tropes, which kind of just makes it even more interesting because you really don't know where it's going to go. You might expect a certain trope and then you're like, actually no, that's not what I expected at all. So you're keeping the readers on their toes.
That's good to know. That's good to know. Thank you.
So Donna has asked, out of all of your books, which one is your favourite and why?
God, I get asked this every day, and it's like I don't honestly, genuinely don't. There are ones that I like for different reasons. There are ones that there's a couple that I'm not keen on anymore, I must admit. But yeah, I mean, the one's always going to have a special part in my life because it kind of really helped explode my career. The Vacation, which I mentioned, was based on when I was traveling when I was younger. And so that's always kind of going to be a little bit special. There are other books like, sorry, John made dinner directly before we went swimming with Elliot, our son, and then we ate, and I ate too fast, and now I'm trying really hard to disguise these burps. So every time you see me doing this, I'm not being mysterious or elusive. I'm just like, yeah,
better out than in. It's fine.
Apologies. Yeah, at least I'm not sitting here farting away. If we're on here much longer, I might be. So yeah, so what my face, I really like The Marriage Act, and that's a book that doesn't get a massive amount of attention, but I think that one's, yeah, I like to think that maybe one day that will find its audience.
Amazing. Do you kind of feel like when people ask you what's your favorite book, you kind of pick it, like it's like you're picking between your children in a way?
Yeah, so I'm going to put a better light on it. So I'm getting darker and darker. So that works a bit better. Yeah, it varies each time. Yeah, and it's like some days I like one book more than the other. Honestly, I don't really sit down and think about them a lot though. So when people say, "Oh, what's your favourite?" I have to think, "Well, what did I write about in this? What did I write about in that?" You just kind of get on with it.
Yeah, lovely. Okay, we've got another question from Donna, which is, why did you decide to write? Why did you decide to write bonus chapters for 3 of your books after they'd been released for several years? And can we expect to get bonus chapters for any of your other books? Wow.
Oh, interesting question. So my publisher came to me and said, "Look, we want to do these new covers, just give them a bit of a refresh. The most recent covers that they've been doing are a lot better and a lot more interesting than the older ones." And I said, "Yeah, absolutely love that. Why don't I write an extra bonus chapter?" So over the years, I like to put endings in my books, obviously, but not all of my endings are neat and tidy and all wrapped up. And some of them are a little bit more open. And people often email me like, "Well, what happened next at the end of like the first book when you disappeared? What happened to so and so next?" I'm like, "Well, that's up to you to decide. I've written my 100,000 words. You decide what happens there." And I thought, well, this is an ideal opportunity. Let's do a bonus chapter in each book of about 3,000 or 4,000 words, not just like a couple of pages, and really see where the characters went next. And so one of them, I think, is like about a year later. The other one's a few months later. The other one happens pretty much straight away. And I really enjoy doing those. But obviously, as I said to you, I've got like no memory. So I then had to reread the books to work out. I had an idea already what was going to happen to the characters. But yeah, I had to reread them to make sure that everything in there actually made sense and that I wasn't contradicting something that happened in an earlier chapter. Yeah. And now, am I writing any more bonus chapters for anything else? Yes. Zip. I can't say anything else.
I'll sealed. Amazing, thank you. Do you think that you'll ever write books that are like part of a series, or do you just prefer to write standalones?
I like standalones. I like bringing characters back as well. There's so much I'd like to be able to say that I can't.
I don't want to like get you into trouble by accidentally saying something.
No, there's the book that comes out next year. There's a character in it who I think people will enjoy seeing again, who has been in a past book. Yeah, there's lots of little Easter eggs that I'll do. So I'll mention a house or something, and then keen readers, if they've read all the books in order, that appeared 3 books ago in so and so, or a character or something like that. Yeah, I'll be asking the question again. I really ramble. I'm so sorry.
No, don't worry.
I think I can't sit still and I ramble. That's my thing.
No, honestly, ramble away.
I like to think it's endearing, but I think it must be annoying.
No, it's not annoying. It makes my job easier, so that's fine by me.
Okay.
Kirsty has said, of your books, which is the next one you'd like turned into a TV series or movie?
Ooh, I actually have a meeting at 11 o'clock tonight with a couple of producers in LA about one of my books. I've had a few of them that have been optioned. So if people don't know what option means, it's where a production company says, hey, we'd like to turn your book into something. Here's a little bit of money. This gives us exclusive rights to do that for about 18 months. If we can't do it, you keep the money and you get the rights to it back. So I've had I've had one thing made, the one for Netflix, and I've had 4 other optioned. But I think about 95% of books that are optioned, nothing ever happens to them. So we'll see. But the ones that have been optioned are What Lies Between Us, which I'm really hopeful for. The Passengers. God, what else was the Family Experiment was optioned recently. There was one more, and I can't remember which one it was. Because yeah, because I'm not going to get all like at first I'd get like really excited about it, but there's no point. Because I've had like The Passengers was optioned about 5 or 6 years ago, and that just fell through in the end. And so I just got the rights to it back, and then it got optioned again by another production company. So it's whatever fits the mood of the market at that time.
Yeah, yeah. That's really exciting. I mean, it's difficult because you can't, yeah, you don't want to get your hopes up, do you? Or
No,
like don't want to get excited about something, but at the same time, you're just thinking, oh well, maybe.
yeah. Until there's a bunch of actors standing in front of a bunch of cameras and people are shouting direct, I won't believe it's going to happen.
Yeah. I mean, that's quite a good way to feel, so then you don't, get any disappointment.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Lovely. So, Dominique has asked, how do you keep track of all your different characters? Well,
if you're talking about characters throughout books throughout the years, that I don't really, to be honest. There's a few that when I'm writing a new book that I'll think, oh, I need a policeman. Oh, you know what? I could use him who was in 2 books ago, like that. When it comes to the book I'm writing at the moment, I know everything about that world. I've written it briefly down what's going to happen. I kind of briefly know chapter by chapter what's going to happen. The rest of it I just kind of keep in my head. So I think that's why when I finished writing it, it's like I like releasing a tap. It's like turning off the valve. Everything just comes pouring out. It's down on the page. It's done. Let's fill up on something else.
I guess it's quite good to kind of not get too fixated on what you're doing, because you've got to free up your brain for other things, haven't you? And
Yeah.
whatever's coming next.
I really admire authors who can write a series and just like keep coming up with stories for the same characters. I think it's really admirable. As we've already established, tiny brain, don't think I'd be able to be able to do that. I think I just don't have the patience for it as well. I just want to move on to the next thing.
Yeah. So Sam has asked, if you were a character in one of your books, or if you could take part in one, what would it be?
Oh, interesting. I think probably the best one for about a bit of audience participation would be either the One or the Passengers. Who would I be? I don't think there's any character I've ever written that I'd want to be. But I think the One could be fun. The Passengers, although I do risk, if you're not ready, it's about people who are trapped in driverless cars that explode. That could be a bit of a risk. I think I'm going to go for the One, particularly if I was single. That's the question I'm asked the most ever is, would you, if the natural DNA test was real, would you take the test? I'm like, no. No, if you've read the book, you'll see why.
I did wonder that with that question. I was thinking, I don't know if I'd want to be any of the characters. I love reading about them.
Yeah.
But the stuff that they go through.
Yeah. No.
Amazing. Let's see what else we have got. Sam has also said, will he be buying a driverless car someday?
We have an electric car. That's probably about as far as I'm going to go. I've actually got 2 electric cars now. I like the idea because I'm quite lazy. I quite like the idea of being driven around. I can see a lot of benefits of them. So I think it's inevitable we're all going to end up in driverless cars at some point.
I really don't like the idea of them. I don't know if I'm just a control freak, but that just scares me.
Yeah, but I guess you're driven around in a taxi, aren't you? It's just the kind of the same as a taxi, but just as a taxi, there's no driver there. I think it's just a matter of trying to get your head around it.
That's a good point, actually. Yeah, do I trust the machine more than a human?
What's more likely to make a mistake? A human.
That's very true. Oh, you're making me think.
Well, tell you what, we'll go on our first maiden driverless car voyage together. How about that?
Yes. little road trip.
Sounds good.
It sounds good. And hopefully we won't end up like the passengers.
Yes, hopefully we'll survive it.
um, Amazing. So Shana, lovely founder of Chapter 25, has asked if any of your books have been inspired by true cases or if they are all completely fictional.
The Stranger in a House, which is a story about a woman who has Alzheimer's, and a man comes into her life and you're not sure whether you can trust him or not, was based on a real story, which I saw in a magazine. And the family of this woman whose mum died, and the guy that she had secretly married, even though she had Alzheimer's because it is illegal, had buried her but never told her where, never told the family where, had all the rights to her house, etc., etc. But anyway, that inspired that book. The very first book, When You Disappeared, about a woman wakes up, discovers that her husband has vanished. 25 years later, he appears at her doorstep to explain where he went, left with 3 kids to raise on her own. That was based on a story that I read in The Guardian. There used to be a section called A Letter To, which people could write anonymously to someone who's made some kind of impact in their life. And it was a woman who was writing, talking to her husband who vanished 15 years earlier, about what happened to her children in the interim and how they'd had this amazing success and their lives had been better without him, even though they'd been a lot harder. And I thought that would be a really interesting concept for a story. But those are the only 2 real ones that have been based on any kind of facts.
Yeah, that's really interesting.
Mm.
It's difficult, isn't it, when you kind of read some things that go on in the news, these heartbreaking things that have happened to people. But it's interesting how you can use that for fiction, obviously, like in a respectful way. It's interesting to kind of see where different inspiration comes from.
I think the common theme here is that I like to profit financially from other people's misfortunes. I think that's, if we've learned nothing else from this conversation, that's it.
But it's okay because you're letting people profit off chapter 39.
That's a good point. Yeah, everything is all cyclical, isn't it?
There you go.
Yeah, good. Thank you. You've got me out of a tight hole there. Thank you.
There you are. You are welcome.
Thank you.
Becky has said, I'd be interested to know if he sees a future similar to the family experiment, where people who are unable to have their own kids may turn to an AI option if/when it becomes available.
Absolutely, I think so. Yeah, I don't think the metaverse is expanding and is becoming as popular as maybe people thought it would by now. Probably down to the cost of it. But I think my son's generation, when he gets older, they'll be using it more for computer games, and then from computer games they'll be moving on to other aspects of their lives with them. So yeah, I can see it absolutely happening. For that book, we didn't really know much about the metaverse or virtual reality. So for a weekend, we hired, our son was with his grandparents for the weekend, so we hired the VR headsets and just spent the evening running around the house being chased by sharks that were just completely what we could see, or swimming with turtles. I remember lying on the floor at one point actually swimming with these like turtles that I could see as clear as day underneath me, or having John did walk into a lamp when he was like pretending to be the fight Darth Vader in a Star Wars thing. But it was really interesting. I couldn't spend my life in there. There's too much. No, I couldn't do it. But there will be generations who do.
Yeah, definitely. I bet that'd be really funny, just like watching you swim on the floor from the outside perspective.
I'm so glad there is footage from that the lost weekend, but there's no footage of me thankfully lying down on the floor swimming.
That's a shame.
Sorry.
Becky's also asked which of the family experiment characters was your favorite to write and why.
Oh God, Becky, I'm gonna have to go through the book now and work out who was who, aren't I? Who's my favourite to write? I quite like writing the TV presenter, Autumn Taylor. She doesn't appear very much, but she's so bitchy and so catty. I really quite liked her. Oh yes, the one whose daughter is Belle. I don't know how much I can give. Can I give stuff away, or is that not the done thing?
Most of them have probably read it.
Belle is my most favourite death of a character ever. I read that there are shipping containers around the world that they know about 2,000 shipping containers disappear every year under the sea and into the sea. They slide off because they either haven't been secured properly or because they're quite rusty. And I thought, well, how interesting would it be if you put a character in one of those and it fell off and they were just sinking and they knew there was nothing they could do about it. And that's my favourite ever death I've written.
I love how that's your favourite. It's just nothing.
I once, this is how dark things can be when you're writing books. My son, when he was like 2, was once sitting behind me in the office playing the Thomas the Tank Engines while I was online researching how high train bridges have to be so I could work out how many feet someone would fall if you pushed them off. How social services have not been involved, I do not know.
I hope you've been using incognito mode.
Oh, God, yes. God, yes. I spend my life in incognito mode.
I think it's needed for the books that you write.
Yeah, I think so.
I still can't believe you've just said that's your favourite. Oh, it's funny. So, Dominique is asking a question which I also really want to know because, and she'll know how much I love this. Will we ever see copies of your books with sprayed edges?
Oh, you know what? I wish they did one. I'm looking at my bookshelves now to see if I can find it. And I probably won't be able to because I want to find it right now. They did one for the advanced reader copy of The Passengers that they sent out to reviewers. That is it. I have campaigned, but they were like, no. So I don't think we're ever going to see sprayed edges. I did want to do a video once of me ordering a can of paint off Amazon, spray paint, and just picking up a book and spraying the edges myself. But John said no, I'm not allowed to.
Oh,
I love a sprayed edge.
John.
Yeah, I love a sprayed edge. I don't think it's ever going to happen.
Yeah. That's a shame. I do love a sprayed edge.
sorry, Dominique, as well. We're both gonna have to come to terms with this.
You've let us down lightly. Let's see. Just a lot of excitement in the chat. So I'm so excited. Which is really, really lovely. Tara said, could you ask if he could show us his dog? Oscar is in a lot of books, and I'm so curious to what he looks like.
Hold on a second. He's in there. He died 3 years ago, so thanks a lot for that question. Hi, Oz.
Tara.
That was my favourite question of the night. Yeah, unfortunately.
Oh, apologies for bringing that up.
Yeah, unfortunately, no, Oscar, bless him. He was about 13 years old when he died. He was my little man. And so he's in my office with me now. I can show you a photograph of him, actually. Hold on. So this was taken actually the day before he died. So that is him there. Yeah. Yeah. So he was a great boy. I love that boy. Yeah. Gutted when he went.
When you were getting up, I really was expecting you to get a picture. I was not expecting you to.
I'm sorry. I could have dealt with that in a much better way, but it was too funny not to.
It was too funny. Oh,
sorry,
well,
just
there
the
you
look
go,
on your
there you
face.
go, Tara.
So it's just the look on your face as you reeled backwards with a. Thought you were going to hit the wall.
Well, there you go. That's perspective when I read one of your plot twists.
Yeah.
It's always a.
We actually realised I dedicated one of my books to Oscar. We actually realised I dedicated a book to my dead dog before I did my husband. We only just realised that I hadn't done one for him until very recently.
How did he feel about that? I can't imagine he was best pleased.
He'll get over it.
Oh, Tara, you've won question of the night with that.
Absolutely. Thanks, Tara. Thanks a lot for bringing those memories back.
Oh, brilliant. Right, let's go to Lizzie. I'm gonna have the giggles now. That's it. I'm gone. So So Lizzie said, if someone was to just discover your books, which one would you tell them to start with?
Oh, people always ask me this as well. I think every day I must get a message from someone saying, "Oh, I've not read any of your books. What should I start with?" It's really hard to, because I don't know what books they like. I don't know whether they like a slow burn, something that's faster in your face, whether they like sci-fi, that's with like a sci-fi twist, or just like a straightforward psych thriller. It's really hard to know. If it's like a psych thriller, I would perhaps choose You Killed Me First, my most recent one. If it's a speculative thriller, I'd probably go for The One.
Mm-hmm.
Ease yourselves in.
I think I have to agree with you there. I actually started with Keep It in the Family, and I was like, what am I reading?
Oh, you started dark. You went deep.
I did start dark.
I think the darkest book I've ever written is The Good Samaritan. That's my darkest one to date. I don't know whether I'll be able to top that.
Yeah, I think that's probably one of my favorites. So what does that say about me? Yeah, I definitely started dark, but I stayed. So there we go.
Well, thank you very much. Thank you for staying.
So Eli has said, are any characters in a book based on someone in your family or someone you know?
Yeah, there's a main character in You Killed Me First who is based on someone I know or used to know very, very well, and I don't think they've got any idea that. I think they're too trying to find the right words. Yeah, I don't think they had the first clue that they really inspired this character, and it was really fun killing them off.
That's brilliant. I feel like that's like the equivalent of like writing a song about your ex or something, isn't it?
Yeah.
Just writing a book character and then killing them off.
Yeah, I'm basically I'm Taylor Swift. The comparisons are obvious.
Oh, brilliant. That's so good. I love that. So Francesca said, what have you read and enjoyed recently, and what's your favorite book ever? Oh, what a hard question. That's not one of your own.
Sorry, the internet connection went a bit funny there. So what was the last part of the question?
Oh, no worries. She said, what's your favorite book ever? That's not one of your own. Hard question.
There's a few that I love that I never read a book more than, or very rarely read a book more than once. But I think probably the ones I have read more than once are Alex Garland's The Beach, J.D. Salinger's Catcher in the Rye, John Boyne's The Heart's Invisible. I typed that Heart's Invisible Furies. I think those are probably my favourite books. Orwell's Animal Farm. What's the other part of that question?
What have you read and enjoyed recently?
Read and enjoyed recently. Let me think. Oh, I don't know if you're familiar with Will Dean. He wrote The Last Thing to Burn a few years ago, which is an amazing book. But he's got a new one called Adrift, which comes out next year. I really enjoyed that a lot. That's quite a slow burn, quite a dark one. God, I'm trying to think. I'm enjoying this. Yeah, I'm enjoying this Carol with the Ice Angels. Let me consult my shelf here. Oh, Lisa Jewell, Don't Let Him In. Absolutely loved that. And Louise Candlish is A Neighbour's Guide to Murder. Really enjoyed that as well. Those are my favourites at the moment.
Well, thank you. I think you've just added about 10 books to all of our TBRs. So
my apologies.
Just extending it even more. No, it's good. It's good. So we've talked about this a little bit, but Chloe has asked what your thought process was behind the famous chapter 39.
Yeah, I just wanted to amuse myself. With a very juvenile sense of humour, but yes, yeah, that's the entire thought process behind it.
Yeah, brilliant. Oh, everyone's just saying how much they're loving the event. That's really lovely.
It was the dead dog that did it, wasn't it?
Everyone they say is just like laughing.
We've both been upstaged by a dead dog. Yay.
It's because the real star of the show.
You know what? In future, if either of us ever have any interviews that are not going too well, let's just wheel out the dead dog.
I like it.
That's
Good
our plan.
backup plan. I like it. um, Donna has asked, how do you feel having Frida as a bestie?
Oh,
See when she
bless
means
her.
Frida McFadden.
I love Frida. You know what? I don't know any other author who gets more stick than she does. I just I did a couple of interviews. I've done 3 or 4 interviews with her now, and we did some fun stuff online. And just the way people just pick her appearance, everything about her, they pick her appearance apart. She's wearing false teeth. And what's wrong with the nails? She's got a really irritating voice, blah, blah, blah. And it always surprised me that it's women who are attacking her, women attacking women. And I don't get it. If you don't like her books, that's absolutely fine. Don't watch the interviews. If you're going to criticize her, I don't understand it. And I feel a little bit protective over her. She doesn't need my protection, obviously. I think what she does, she knows her audience. She knows what her audience want with her books. I think she does a great job with them. If you don't like them, you don't like them. It's no skin off her nose. But I think it's quite unfair how people can be quite bullying towards her. It's not necessary.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of it, a lot of like accusations about, how she writes her books and stuff, and it's just awful to see. We want people to be supportive, don't you? And it's not nice.
Just let it get on with it. If you don't like it, move on. Doesn't matter.
Exactly. There's nothing to do. It's fine. We're big Frida fans at Chapter 25. If you'd like to convince her to come and do a Q&A.
Okay. I will mention it to her.
Amazing. So Tara also said that she'd love to have What Lies Between Us and You Killed Me First as like turned into a TV series or movie as well. I know we discussed that earlier. And then also said OMG with lots of crying faces after the dog incident. So
Okay.
I think she feels bad.
I hope she's proud of herself.
Oh, I'm not going to stop laughing about that for days now. It's just going to be one of those things that I remember and then just laugh about.
Great. I'm glad you're laughing at my great loss. Thanks. I can laugh
be
about
like, how was the interview? And you can be like, they brought up the dead dog.
You made me wheel out the ashes.
Oh, unbelievable. So Alexandra has asked, what inspires you to write such sassy female characters like in You Killed Me First? Are they a secret way to let your inner sass out?
Absolutely, my inner bitch just came bursting out of the closet with those. I wrote Stranger in a House, Alzheimer's, depressing, yada yada yada. Not the happiest story to write. I wanted to do something that I wanted to write bitchy, funny, catty characters. And that's why I wrote that book. And honestly, that's turned out to be probably the fastest seller worldwide I've ever had, even more so than the one and stuff like that. The one has just been a consistent for me, but this one just came charging out the blocks and has done really, really well. And I loved writing it. And there's a main character in it that I kill off, and I'm really, really pissed off with myself for killing them off. They had to be killed off to make the ending work. But I'm gutted because unless I bring her back for a prequel, she's gone now.
Oh.
Yeah, but I really enjoyed writing that one. That was good fun.
Yeah, amazing. Tara's profusely apologising.
Yeah. Tara, darling, like the dog, you are dead to me.
Tara be a character in your next book that you kill off. Like the worst way possible.
I've never used the name Tara, and I'm going to kill her off now with a really humiliating STI. That's how she's going. Riddled. Sorry, Tara, riddled.
Brilliant. Oh, amazing.
I'd like to think that I've quite lowered the tone of this evening's conversation. Started off quite nice and pleasant and highbrow, and then I've just taken it down. I do apologise, guys. I'm sorry.
No,
if ever I'm going to be cancelling in my career, it's going to be as a result of this interview. This is it. You don't see me again.
Oh, brilliant. I'm really going to be laughing about this for days. Alice has asked, is there a topic you've not written about that intrigues you?
Not yet. No, not yet. The psychology of people and various ailments and issues they have always intrigues me, and what inspires people to behave in a certain way. But there's been no actual subject matter yet that I've thought, oh, I'd really like to write about that. Not yet. it might completely change with the next book. I don't know.
Yeah. Nice. And she's also asked, where is your favorite place to write? I know you kind of mentioned that you kind of write anywhere, but is there a particular favorite place?
I like my office. Yeah, my office is great. It's a nice place to write. Sometimes I won't work in there for a couple of weeks and I'll just go into the kitchen instead. We've got like a open plan family room, so I can just sit at the table looking over the garden. Sometimes I really like just being in Starbucks and just drinking green tea till I'm virtually vomiting it. Just cup after cup and just working away in there. Sometimes it just really depends on what mood I'm in that day.
Yeah, amazing. And I think both Lizzie and Pap have asked this question, which is, have you found any of your books in Tesco yet?
No, I know what I did that video as it was almost like a little bit of a reaction to another author who has done a few videos of Tesco, being in Tesco's and stalking staff, stalking readers. I knew there weren't going to be any in there. I thought it'd just be a little bit of fun to do, and just kind of take the piss out of myself. Because one of my publishers, Thomas and Mercer, is owned by Amazon, so therefore they are in a few like independent shops and a few Waterstones, but mainly it's all online. And yeah, so I've come to terms with the fact that I'm not going to see any of them soon walking around the aisles of Tesco's or Sainsbury's. I've had a few in there before, the speculative fiction ones, but not these.
Yeah. Amazing. So everyone is just laughing. It's brilliant. And Tara said that is it bad? I'd be happy to kill off in one of his books with an STI.
This is a verbal contract now. There's no going back.
Happening.
Yeah.
I'll send my picture to him. I'm the one that brought up the dead dog.
Thank you. I look forward to seeing this.
Oh, brilliant. Amazing. So we're getting towards 9 o'clock, and that is all our questions on the Discord chat. I just want to say a huge thank you, John. It's been really lovely to chat to you and to kind of get to know a bit more about like your writing process and your books, and also just get to know you a little bit as well. You are absolutely hilarious. Everyone has just been saying about how much they've had a lovely time. So thank you so much. It's greatly appreciated. And I hope you've had a fun time too, even though we brought up your dead dog.
Yeah, thanks. I really enjoyed it. I don't do many of these anymore just because I don't really have time, but I'm really flattered to be asked, so which is why I said yes. And so thank you so much for everybody who's read the books, talked about the books to everybody else, who bought the books. Without you guys, I would not be doing what I was doing. I'd still be mourning the loss of my dog. Privately, Tara, privately.
Oh, amazing. Thank you so much. And I hope your call goes well as well.
Cheers. Send me your address and I'll send you the stranger in a house.
Thank you so much. That's so lovely of you.
All right. Take care, guys.
Amazing. Take care.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye.